Who was the best player when you arrived and then when you left basketball? When you first got into the ABA, who was the best player? Not named you. And then when you departed the NBA, who was the best player? Let's start with the first one, Dr. J.
Yeah. So the first one, when I got into the ABA, Artist Gilmore was the MVP and the Rookie of the Year. So he went right to the head of the class.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there was, there were great players there. George McGinnis was great. David Thompson. He came in afterwards. But Artist Gilmore, he was a force to be reckoned with. And how he's not in the top 75, that questions the legitimacy of the top 75. You don't have Artist Gilmore in there. He's the leading field goal percentage shooter in the history of the NBA. And he was just, it hurts me because he's one of my ABA brothers.
Mm.
When I left, Michael was surging at the time because he came in 3 years behind me. So my last 3 years were his first 3 years. So he was surging, but I would still give the nod to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That I left, he stayed and played another year or another 2 years after I left. And so it was probably Gilmore on the front end and Abdul-Jabbar on the back end.
Yeah, Kareem, right? And now here we are. LeBron is, closing in, right, on the all-time points record right now. So, what is your thoughts on LeBron James and where he rests on the all-time conversation, the GOATness, if you will, Dr. J?
The GOATness. He's gonna pass everybody for one thing, because he comes in at 18 years old, and he was a pro. He had the pro body and the pro ability as a high schooler. I really haven't seen anybody have that package. Moses probably raw. He's probably the closest guy, and there was Bill Willoughby, who it didn't work out for. And there were some other guys Kevin Garnett, but he's not LeBron and he's not Moses. So LeBron is, yes, the chosen one in that regard. He's going to play into his 40s, and he's going to start at 18, and he's going to have, he's probably going to have a 22, 23-year career. And nobody's done that in basketball either. Because those last few years for Shaq and for Kobe, they were on the bench, they were on the sidelines. They were there, they were getting paid, but they were on the sidelines. They were done. LeBron, it won't be the same for him because he can still be that complete player. His skills are so diverse, and he's putting $1 million into his body every offseason to be able to still be out there with the tonal machine and the stuff that legitimately is going to help him maintain his physicality. So yeah, he's going to be the guy at the end of the day. He's going to be the guy who reestablishes the bar for what the GOAT is.
Okay. In your Debate the GOATness campaign, one of the guys who I would definitely debate is one of the greats of all time is Moses Malone. You got a good story one you could share with me?
Man,
Dr.
come on. Bo first got to Philly, and he was used to riding around in Houston with his top down and leaving stuff in his car. And then he got to Philly, he pulled in, and he left his dry cleaning in his car. And he came back out and the dry cleaning was gone, right? So he said, when will I see this guy wearing my clothes? I'm going to break his neck. He had these shirts with the big collars on them, the big floppy collars on them. He had some bell-bottom pants or something that were there. And he was so hurt, man. He was like, and I said, Bo, welcome to Philly. You can't, this ain't Houston. You cannot do that here.
I just loved, obviously his all-time great quote of how many times, winning at faux and faux. Were you around for that one? Were you nearby his locker or anything like that? Or have you heard that, Dr. J?
Yeah. Well, he was serious because he says, "What is it?" They said, "What is the championship?" He said, "We got to go 4, 4, and 4." Meaning the 3 series. But it came out like 4, 4, 4 because he didn't really like talking to the media, and he'd give them 2 minutes, and then that's it. He's all right, I'm done. So he's very quick with his wit, and he's quick with his his puns, and when he said 4, 4, 4, and we ended up playing 13 games instead of 12 or whatever, and that was history. That was a piece of history because I think one of the groups in Philly, made a song out of it.
Who could play with you guys today in today's game, where where you see somebody who's suiting up today? You know what, that guy could have played with me on the Sixers or anything like that. You got one?
Yeah, well, if it was the other way around, I'd take Andrew Toney and then I'd sit him out there and let him and Steph Curry shoot those jumpers stepping over half court because that was Andrew. Andrew showed us that in his game.
I remember
LeBron could play, Kevin Garnett could play. Not Kevin Garnett, Kevin Durant could play. Curry could play. Let's see.
What do you think of Morant, Dr. J?
Morant.
What do you think of him?
John Morant could play in any era.
Right.
He's just amazing. And then the big guys. I mean, with Jokic and Embiid and the kid in Utah, defensive player.
Gobert. Yeah, Gobert, for sure.
They would be good fits.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.